Well, some shocking news out of the United States this week, where United States Citizenship and Immigration Services made the shocking announcement that they are going to update their guidance to prevent, and boy, this just tells you how bad things are in Trump's America. They're updating their guidance to prevent anti-American foreigners from receiving visas to immigrate. My God. Well, frankly, that's a common sense change, long overdue. To discuss this and more, let's bring in author and host of the Karol Markowicz Show, Karol Markowicz. Karol, I was absolutely stunned to see that people were absolutely upset about this idea that if you're anti-American, you can't get a visa to go to America. Why would you want to in the first place?
Right. Well, I think it's because people think, oh, I'm American and I hate this country. Why can't we import more people just like me? And I think that idea is crazy, obviously. I'm an immigrant to this country. And when I was a child, I did the whole immigration process. We did the whole becoming a citizen process. And you have to kind of prove that you are going to be a worthy American, that you are going to, be the best that this country offers, that you're going to live up to the values. And we sort of have moved away from that, where it doesn't matter anymore. And you're encouraged to bring your terrible backwards ways into the United States. I'd love to see that reversed a little bit. I'd love to see it become that you need to prove that you want to come to America and be American and be everything that means in the best way possible.
Yeah, I agree completely. I can't believe that people were losing their minds about this. But I want to talk about now also another American institution. There's a restaurant chain called Cracker Barrel, and maybe Australians haven't heard of it, but it's a very sort of classic American down-home kind of restaurant chain. Anyway, their shares have plunged by 20%. After their new CEO decided to redesign the logo that stripped away both the cracker and the barrel, but also it's come out that they're doing a broader woke rebranding, have been involved in all sorts of pride events and things of this kind of nature. It sounds like they're going Bud Light. Have we got another company going woke and about to go broke here?
I think so. The main thing to me that stuck out about this is that somebody took a logo that was, a little bit interesting, not super quirky or different, but just a little bit of an interesting logo, and turned it into the most bland, generic, AI-produced logo possible. And I think that that's what's really confusing to people. Like, what are they doing here? Why did they change this? Cracker Barrel is a beloved kind of low-priced restaurant that you see when you're on road trips with your family. My kids love it. There's a candy store with knickknacks in the front of every store, and you have these rocking chairs in front. It's just a really cute experience, and I think that people don't want it to become just another generic restaurant, and that's what it looks like is becoming. They showed pictures of a remodel inside. They got rid of kind of some of the cutesy things that they had, and it's sad to watch a company destroy itself needlessly. Really, I don't know about the woke part yet. We'll see what happens with that, but why do this? Why make yourself like everybody else?
Well, there was an interesting piece in the New York Times about this, and the New York Times actually said that Cracker Barrel restaurants were, and this was the New York Times reporting, they said they are white-coated and associated with conservatives. Is this whole sort of weird racialization and politicization of something that shouldn't be racialized or political at all?
I mean, the thing is, it's completely not true. Again, I go on road trips with my kids and they, Cracker Barrel, let's stop at Cracker Barrel and get some of the fun candy that they have in the store. And it's a mix of people from all over the country. It's not particularly white. There's all races are represented. And that idea that it's some kind of white-coated thing is nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. It's them trying to bring down an American brand, and that American brand is falling for it.
Yeah, it's a shame we can't take away their visas. But hey, I want to go to New York City now, where you're from, where I'm from, and where Zohran Mamdani, who I've spoken about plenty of times on this show, is surging in the polls. He's now expected to be the next mayor of the Big Apple. We keep hearing more and more about this guy, his crazy economics, his adjacency to very anti-Israeli and some would say anti-Semitic comments. As a former New Yorker yourself, what do you make of this? And what do you make of this in terms of the broader move of the Democrat Party towards socialism away from mainstream middle America.
I think leftism goes hand in hand now with anti-Semitism, and at the very minimum being anti-Israel, and that's what Zohran Mamdani represents. But beyond all that, all of his ideas, all of his socialist plans for New York City, they're largely going to fail. He can't do a lot of the things that he claims he can do. I mean, how many government-run grocery stores is he going to have in a city of 7 or 8 million people? 2, 3? It's not going to work. He can't really freeze rent. He wants to do it with rent-stabilized apartments. New Yorkers misunderstood it as all apartments. Obviously, this is all going to fail. So the question is, what will he turn to when it does fail? And I think Jews in New York need to be careful that he's going to turn to vilifying them, and they're going to be in danger. And that's not a crazy idea. That's something that plenty of politicians have done in the past. When their government policies fail, they find a way to scapegoat Jews. New York Jews need to be careful, and they need to think about getting out if he becomes mayor. It's time.
God, it's just absolutely shocking. I never would have thought, having grown up in New York, 40 years ago, that we'd be talking about Jews having to leave New York City, of all places.
Yeah.
But finally, Karol, I want to ask you about this because, look, I'm not much of a Swiftie myself, but former FBI Director James Comey apparently is. He's posted a bizarre video about Taylor Swift and Donald Trump. Have a look at this.
You see, Taylor Swift and I go way back. I went to my first concert of hers 15 years ago. I'm in a family's Swiftie group chat. I know all her music, and I listen to it in my headphones when I cut the grass. So yes, I have a favorite of hers, although honestly, for me, it's a tie between All Too Well, 10-minute version, and Exile featuring Bon Iver.
Karol, creepy is the only kind of word that came to mind there. What did you think?
Look, I like Taylor Swift. I've been to a Taylor Swift concert. I've taken my teenage daughter to see her in Liverpool. I mean, I'm not against people liking Taylor Swift. That's great. But the fact that our FBI director, our ex-FBI director, is so deeply unserious and so weird, so odd, does such weird things and says such weird things. This is not the first time that he's made a kind of odd spectacle of himself. He recently had the incident where he said he was walking on the beach and came across a shell formation that said 8647, which means get rid of 47. It's taken kind of as a threat. I mean, he is a weird dude. How was he the FBI director? It just makes no sense to me, and it concerns me that someone like that was in that role for so long.
Well, yeah, I think we're going to hear a little bit more about James Comey in the coming weeks and months. Karol Markowicz, we're going to have to leave it there.